always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it.
Good morning and welcome to my class. Objective: illustrates the different properties of operations on the set of integers. So we will have a pretest, multiple choice. Write the letter of the correct answer on a sheet of paper. Number 1. What property is being illustrated in A plus B equals B plus A? Letter A, commutative property of addition. Letter B, commutative property of multiplication. Letter C, identity property. Letter D, closure property. Number 2, what property is being illustrated in the quantity of A times B close quantity times C equals A times the quantity of B times C close quantity? Letter A, associative property of addition. Letter B, associative property of multiplication. Letter C, identity property. Letter D, closure property. Number 3, what is the identity element in addition? Letter A, 3. Letter B, 2. Letter C, 1. Letter D, 0. Number 4, what is the identity element in multiplication? Letter A, 3. Letter B, 2. Letter C, 1. Letter D, 0. Next number 5. What property is being illustrated in A times the quantity of B plus C equals AB plus AC? Letter A, closure property. Letter B, commutative property. Letter C, distributive property. Letter D, additive inverse property. We are now ready to answer your pretest. We are in problem number 1. What is the answer to problem number 1? The answer is letter A, that is commutative property of addition. How about for problem number 2? What is the answer? The answer is letter B, associative property of multiplication. For number 3, it is the identity element in addition. What is the answer? The answer is letter D, 0. For problem number 4, the identity element in multiplication. What is the answer? The answer is letter C, that is 1. For the last number, what is our answer? The answer is letter C, distributive property. We need to review the previous lesson. We have review number 1. What is the sum of positive 10 plus negative 3? We have the answer to review 1. What is the sum of positive 10 plus negative 3? What is the answer? The answer is positive 7. Very good. You got it correct. We are in review number 2. How about the sum of negative 3 plus positive 10? What is the result? We have the answer to review 2. What is the answer? The answer is positive 7. Very good. You got it correct again. We have an analysis of review 1 and review 2. Look at our given for review 1. Positive 10 plus negative 3. The result is positive 7. For review number 2, how about the sum of negative 3 plus positive 10? Again, the result is still positive 7. Look at our addends. What have you noticed about the addends? We changed the order of the addends. So if we change the order of the addends, does it alter the result? No, because the answer is still the same. We are in review 3. We have the problem. What is the sum of 2 plus the quantity of 3 plus 4 closed quantity? And we have another problem. How about the sum of the quantity of 2 plus 3 closed quantity plus 4? So we have the answer to review 3. First, we need to find the value of the sum of 2 plus the quantity of 3 plus 4 closed quantity. First, we need to find the value of the number inside the parentheses. 3 plus 4 is 7, and we have 7. We need to add 2. 7 plus 2 is 9. Did you get it correct? Very good. Let's clap our hands. We are in the next number. How about the sum of the quantity of 2 plus 3 closed quantity plus 4? First, we need to find the value of the number inside the parentheses. 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 plus 4 is 9. So, did you get it correct? Very good. So, looking at the given, we change the order of the groupings of the addends. The first grouping is 3 and 4, and the second grouping is 2 and 3. If we change the order of the grouping, does it alter the result? No, it does not change the result because we have the same answer. We are in review number 4. What is the product of 2 times the quantity of 3 times 4 closed quantity? And we have the next one. How about the product of the quantity of 2 times 3 closed quantity times 4? We have the answer to review 4. So, first we need to find the product of the number inside the parentheses, and that is 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 times 2 is 24. Did you get it correct? Very good. How about in the next one? We have the grouping of 2 and 3. 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 4 is 24. Did you get it correct? Very good. So, we need to analyze our given. So, in the first problem, we have the groupings of 3 and 4. But in the second number, we have the groupings of 2 and 3. If we change the order of the groupings, does it alter the result? Or does it change the result? The answer is no, because the answer is still the same, and that is 24. We have closure property. Closure of addition. The sum of 2 integers is also an integer. If we add 3 plus 4, the result is 7. And 7 is an integer. We have closure of multiplication. The product of 2 integers is also an integer. If we multiply 3 times 4, 3 times 4 is 12. And 12 is an integer. We have commutative property. Commutative property of addition, which states that changing the order of the addends does not alter the result. Tignan natin mabuti. Pag binaliktad natin ang 3 plus 4, the answer is 7. 4 plus 3, the answer is 7. So kahit na pagbalik pa rin ang pwesto ng mga numero at tayo ay nag-a-add, hindi pa rin nagbabago ang resulta nito. We have commutative property of multiplication. Changing the order of the factors does not change the results. So if we multiply 3 times 4, the result is 12. If we multiply 4 times 3, the result is also 12. Kahit baliktarin natin ang posisyon ng mga numero pag tayo ay nag-multiply, hindi pa rin nagbabago ang resulta nito. We have associative property. So, in associative property, we have two. Associative property of addition and associative property of multiplication. Associative property of addition means changing the order of the groupings of the addends does not change the result. Sa una, ang pinagrupo natin ay 4 at 5. Sa pangalawa, ang pinagroup natin ay 3 at 4. Kahit napalitan natin ang grupo ay hindi pa rin nagbabago ang sagot. So 4 plus 5 is 9, 3 plus 9 is 12, 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 plus 5 is 12, 12 equals 12. We have associative property of multiplication. Changing the order of the grouping of the factors does not change the result. So in the first grouping, we group 4 and 5. 4 times 5 is 20, and 3 times 20 is 60. In the second grouping, we group 3 and 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. 60 equals 60. We have identity property. What is the identity element of addition? The identity element for addition is 0. What is the identity element in multiplication? The identity element in multiplication is 1. So what is identity property of addition? A number plus 0 is the number itself. 3 plus 0 equals 3. What is identity property of multiplication? 1 times a number equals the number itself. 1 times 20 equals 20. We have inverse property. Inverse property is divided into two: additive inverse property and multiplicative inverse property. So, if we add a number by its opposite, what is opposite? If we have 3, the opposite of 3 is negative 3. If we have 7, the opposite of 7 is negative 7. So, if we add a number by its opposite, the result is 0. We have multiplicative inverse property. Multiplying a number by its reciprocal, the result is 1. If we have 3, what is the reciprocal of 3? 1/3. If we multiply 3 by 1/3, the answer is 1. So we have 3 over 2. What is the reciprocal of 3 over 2? The reciprocal of 3 over 2 is 2 over 3. If we multiply 3 over 2 and 2 over 3, the answer is 1. So we have 0 property. The product of a number and 0 is 0. 10 times 0 is 0. 28 times 0 is 0. We have distributive property. Adding first before multiplying or distributing the factors to its addend will give the same result. So, if we multiply 2 by the quantity of 4 plus 5, what is the quantity of 4 plus 5? The answer is 9. So, 2 times 9 is 18. Or if we distribute 2 times 4 plus 2 times 5, 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 5 is 10. 8 plus 10 equals 18. and that is distributive property. Properties of operation. Commutative property of addition, A plus B equals B plus A. Commutative property of multiplication, A times B equals B times A. Associative property of addition, A plus the quantity of B plus C close quantity equals the quantity of A plus B close quantity plus C. Associative property of multiplication, A times the quantity of B times C close quantity equals the quantity of A times B close quantity times C. Additive inverse property, A plus negative A equals 0. Multiplicative inverse property, A times 1 over A equals 1. Identity property of addition, A plus 0 equals A. Identity property of multiplication, A times 1 equals A. Distributive property, A times the quantity of B plus C close quantity equals AB plus AC. Zero property of multiplication, A times 0 equals 0. We need to identify the property that is being illustrated. We have number 1, 6 plus 10 equals 10 plus 6. Number 2, 2 plus 0 equals 2. Number 3, 2 times 1 half equals 1. Number 4, 5 times the quantity of 2 plus 1 equals 5 times 2 plus 5 times 1. Number 5, 5 times the quantity of 2 times 3 close quantity equals the quantity of 5 times 2 close quantity times 3. I'm giving you time to answer the problem. Now we are ready to answer the problem. Number 1, what is your answer? The answer is commutative property of addition. How about number 2? Number 2 is identity property of addition. We are in number 3. Number 3 is multiplicative inverse property. For number 4, our answer is distributive property. And for the last number, we have associative property of multiplication. We have the real-life application of properties of operation. When you look in a mirror, you see yourself. It's just like the zero property of addition. Let's say you are a number and you look into a mirror. Add to 0, you stay the same, but you are looking at your reflection. This property is sometimes called the identity property of addition. People distribute money in the same way that a number is distributed and multiplied to other numbers. We have our post test. Write the letter of the correct answer on a sheet of paper. Number 1, what property is being illustrated in 9 times 5 equals 5 times 9? Letter A, commutative property of addition. Letter B, commutative property of multiplication. Letter C, identity property. Letter D, closure property. Number 2, what property is being illustrated in the quantity of 2 plus 3 close quantity plus 4 equals 2 plus the quantity of 3 plus 4 close quantity? Letter A, associative property of addition. Letter B, associative property of multiplication. Letter C, identity property. Letter D, closure property. Number 3, what property is being illustrated in 7 plus 0 equals 7? Letter A, identity property of addition. Letter B, inverse property. Letter C, closure property. Letter D, distributive property. Number 4, what property is being illustrated in 10 times 1 equals 10? Letter A, distributive. Letter B, inverse. Letter C, closure. Letter D, identity property of multiplication. Number 5, what property is being illustrated in 8 plus negative 8 equals 0? Letter A, closure. Letter B, commutative. Letter C, distributive. Letter D, additive inverse property. We are now ready to answer the post test. For number 1, the answer is letter B. Number 2, what is the answer? The answer is letter A. Number 3, what is the answer? The answer is letter A. Number 4, we have letter D. And for the last number, number 5, the answer is letter D. Valuing. Integers and body weight. We can be overweight, positive 10 kilogram, or we might have an eating disorder and be underweight, negative 25 kilogram. Integers and savings and loans. Getting paid and savings are positive. Loans and debt are negative money amount. Physics is a mathematical, not because we know so much about the physical world, but because we know so little. It is only its mathematical properties that we can discover by Bertrand Russell. Thank you for watching.